All righty, everyone. Welcome to the reunion of DCP All-Stars Rites of Passage. We are joined with the majority of the cast, and I have my fellow hosts, Morgan Jackson and Alex Trias. Unfortunately, Ian could not make it tonight, but we've got a great group of castaways to talk to. I mean, let's start off with Mike Simmons. You won. How was it watching all the episodes back?
It was fun to watch back. Made me a little anxious again. Like I knew what was gonna happen, but still on the edge of my seat, like, oh, I remember going through this. This sucked, like that type of thing. But a lot of fun. Interested to see everyone's opinions and thoughts throughout the game. So just a lot of fun to watch back, and I'm excited to see some more.
Awesome. And Maddie, second place. How was it watching back for you?
It was awesome, painful, all the good stuff. Glad we're here, but very bittersweet moment to all be here together again for one of our last times together.
Yeah. And Austin, you finally cracked your way into the final tribal council. How does it feel? You're on mute, buddy.
Perfect.
Unmute it. There we go. So got to be one of these, right? In the final three, it's wonderful, right? To finally make it to a final. Maybe the results aren't what I wanted, but to get there at the least warms my heart, warms my soul, especially with a delicate and wonderful cast such as this.
Yeah. Well, we had at the end of our final tribal council, Maddie had mentioned something of, a logo, an alliance logo, everybody getting stickers. Like, what's the process on, people getting these stickers for the Maddie and Simmons duo?
Oh yeah, just send your addresses. We've got them printed out, ready. We've got them lined in gold and silver, and you can all expect them in 3 to 5 business days.
Well, along with this killer final three, I think what really helped it with our final tribal council was just the very willingness to listen from our jury. Like I haven't seen a jury really fully respect the process of the game and take their votes as seriously as I saw you all as individuals. Like, I'm gonna go cut to Lex here. Like, Lex, we can speak it now because you can't really see it in the edit. You were in that voting booth for probably like a solid 10 minutes going back and forth between how you were gonna vote.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, this is an all-stars game, right? I mean, the caliber is a little higher than just a typical org. And that being said, I mean, these are 3 fantastic finalists, and they did a hell of a job getting to where they got, and they did what 15 people could not do. So yeah, it's a lot of weight to make sure you vote for the right person to really represent not just DCP, but what's a DCP all-star, right? You gotta outwit, outplay, and outlast. And it took me a long time to figure out who that real person is. And ultimately, Simmons has the crown.
Yeah, and we also had one of the most, sorry, my internet's being a little weird right now, I'm sorry. But we also had a first in DCP history. And I have told Andrew on several times not to call it one player. I'm not going to say that name. But to have our first serene moment of the season, I see Andrew's already getting the shot ready. Andrew, I know it's not the win, but how do you feel like you get to be a part of DCP history for life now with that moment?
It was nice. It was nice. And like I said during my exit interview, I was on the edge of my seat watching the episode again, even though I knew what was going to happen. I was in the Zoom. I think at that point it was Garsow, Maddie, and Lex. And I started crying again because it was one of the most exciting things that's ever happened in my org career. And, I think I was just kind of getting down on myself with the whole Kemi Kappenberg thing. Sorry, I had to name drop that. But it was fun. I'm excited to be a part of history.
And another fun thing about orgs is I've seen ever since I've been a part of the org community, there's something about being a last minute addition to a cast that like almost like it guarantees you're at least making the merge. And this is pointed directly at the Oz twins of it all. And it's so interesting how, even though you guys did not work with each other, you never really had the opportunity to work with each other. Your stories were intertwined before the season even began. So, Garsow, like, just go through that journey for us here. It's like you were a very last minute addition, and have this like full story. You get to leave the game as a serious contender, a threat to win. Like, how did it feel, sort of like bookending your DCP journey?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to unpack there, but I guess like to start off, to know that I was for sure gonna apply when All Stars was announced, and just hoping that I'd make the cast, and then even then getting put down as an alternate, I still had my hopes up. Was in the middle of a long game, and then McKenna messaged me saying that someone dropped and that a spot was open. Didn't make the merge in my long game, and had I made jury in my long game, I would have been playing that game, or at least keeping up with that game 3 days before All Stars was going to start. So just like a lot, even just going on before the game even started, and then just looking back at the whole journey, almost getting voted out first, and then all the ups and downs along the way. I literally just could not be happier with how everything turned out.
Awesome.
Well, hello everybody. I know I haven't gotten a chance to be in any of your exit interviews, but it's good to see all of you and get a chance to talk with you. But I want to talk about some advantages. So back when I played in Lalamano Beach, I played the Legacy Advantage at the Final Six, and we also saw the Legacy Advantage get played this season. So Karen, talk about the moment when you found out that you had received it.
So I felt, you can never be 100% confident, but I never thought I was going to be the vote until I started to feel differently around Final 7. I was like, the vibes are starting to change a little here. So I was starting to get nervous, and Final 7 is a little too early for me to be in trouble, because my plan, I don't know, I needed to get to like Final 5 so I could just win immunity at Final 5 and Final 4, and then just win the game, as you do. So because I was feeling that way at Final 7, and with Garsow going out, which was kind of my last ally, maybe minus Simmons, but by this point he had gotten enough power on his own. He didn't need me for much longer. So it was a huge blessing to get that for the Final 6 vote, especially since that was when the first day ended. So I knew I could kind of chill out a little bit that night and not worry too much. I think at the end of the day, there wasn't much I could do anyway, other than win immunity, but it was nice to at least have that extra chance to for things to possibly go my way.
Yeah, totally. And I wanted to talk to Shea about Exile Island. Shea earned an advantage that we didn't get to see play out. But looking back, is there a challenge that if you had still been in the game, you would have used your advantage on?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I should have even pulled the trigger and tried, I think, again, with Extreme Flip Cup. If only Simmons wasn't so damn intimidating with it. Kylie too. They're so darn good. I just didn't feel like I even had a small chance at that one. But there's a few coming up that I think I could have. A lot of those little skill challenges, I'm not too bad at. So it's one of those things where I felt like as we're kind of getting in, I like my area of expertise and my capability and challenge beasting could have came out. So I was ready to pull the trigger on anything I felt that I was capable of, but yeah, never got the chance.
Yeah.
Ashley.
How soon did you, oh, sorry.
No.
I was going to say, how soon did you know that you wanted to go to Exile Island when you heard it was opportunity to do that?
Oh, so I didn't. That was one of the, okay, so this is, we play the game of Survivor, coming in ready to play the game and that with our best laid intentions and a game plan for what we want. And we have a long game going into merge and, we build relationships and have these little plans coming in. And then you announce that and all that went out the window in 20 seconds when I'm sitting there in debating and realizing I can't hold my arms up for 8 minutes. Okay, so now I don't know, should I just drop? I know I'm not going to win this one. And instant decision. So all of that work went out the window in a quick impulse move, and that's all it takes in this game is one bad decision. And see you later.
That is sadly the way it goes sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Ashley, your journey within DCP has been a wild one. Your first game that you played, you were on the bottom, couldn't catch a break, basically, and then were rocked out. Here, you were viewed in more of a power position, and then snap your fingers, you're out of the game. So, walk us through like your journey that you've had through DCP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like a little bit of a tale of two games here. Like both games were very, very different from each other. I still have yet to have, play that like in the middle game, which would be probably a better spot to be in long term. But I don't know. I've gotten to experience a few different styles of games and try to do things differently, which is what's interesting about playing these types of games. Is you look at the real show Survivor and you think like, what would I do? How would I respond? Like, it's more for someone who doesn't play like a million of these games. It's fun to like not have the same thing come up and to be able to experience sort of a few different situations.
Yeah. Zucker, we saw you play the only idol of the game and right at the last minute asking Alex for that hug. Were you worried about everyone hearing you ask for this hug when that clue was out in the open for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, if anyone who's watched obviously the new era seasons of Survivor, whenever there's, obviously like a public kind of display, it puts the eyes on you. So, that was obviously the main concern I had. But I just tried to, my best to play it off as kind of non-suspecting as I could, just kind of making a joke after the fact and just, not kind of being as boisterous as out there as I, maybe could have. So, but it was one of those, moves where it was merge and I wanted to kind of make my staple in the game and make big moves come the end of the game. And to do that, I felt I needed to go for that idol. So it was a risk, but, one that I felt like had a big reward at the end. And it didn't ultimately work the way I was hoping for with the idol. But I think to, go through the first half of the merge, obviously with my name being out there quite a bit, it was, a proud moment on my part just to, trust the groups of people I was talking to and make a move when I needed to ensure my safety at the final six. So yeah, all in all, it was a whirlwind from start to finish. But I hope that answered your question in the words of Andrew.
I was gonna say you might have to send Andrew some royalties there. This all leads to our pre-jurors, and I thank you all for attending today. And I'm going to start off with a budding friendship that I was not expecting in this game, but it was such a fun one to observe, especially after they were both voted out. And that's Mike, Rick, and Brittley. Like, you guys were just so fun to like just peek behind the curtain, listen to you guys talk. Like throughout the jury, I'm like giving you little messages of like things that are going on and seeing you both react the entire weekend. It was so fun to watch. Like, could you guys just give us a little more context on like how that like bond was created? Because it was created very quickly.
No, that's true. I don't know. He was one of the first people I talked to once the game got started, and I don't know, just we were able to connect, and I picked up so I kind of picked up this vibe that he would be really kind of like fun to work with, and there was this odd sense of I can trust him, and I feel like that was the same for him towards me. And then of course, once the stress of the game went away, it was like, I'm just gonna have fun and just kick back and chat here and just get people's reactions on what's going on.
Yeah, I would say like right off the bat, I had seen Brittley's season and I was like, that's someone I'd like to work with, especially based on what I knew about what I wanted to do in the game this time around. I was like, Brittley would be perfect to work with. And then so we established that we trusted each other, and then I feel like we both just like thought we knew what was going on in the game, and we'd both be scared, and we'd come together and be like, okay, now we're good, we're all good. Yeah. Even though we knew we were not good, but like talking to each other is like, oh, we're on the same page, everybody must be thinking this way, we're fine. And it became like a nice like a comfort zone where we're like, all right, now I'm okay. And then you could go back to the craziness of the game. That's what that was in the beginning. And then left Brittley out of a vote, and she still was like, hey, I still like you. I was like, what? All right, cool, like this is perfect. So yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Danny, like obviously your game was cut very short for this second time around, that you had a terrific showing in Sahara Dunes, but what was it like sort of like following along for the rest of like what you didn't get to be a part of, but getting to see the people that you made those instant connections with back in the beginning of the game end up performing extremely well for the rest of it?
Yeah. Without Lydia present, I will be wearing the ceremonial first boot crown on behalf of both of us. So yeah, not as good a performance as I was kind of hoping for, but it was incredibly fun watching you guys all play moving forward. And yeah, I definitely thought, following on kind of offline with things, I thought there was no way that group was making it like any further than like, maybe they'd make the merge, but then like get picked off immediately from that. So was like super impressed to see, how well everyone did. And, congrats Simmons for taking the win there. Yeah, it was really fun to see everybody go far.
Okay. And everyone has a story in this game, and it's so fun to have like little arcs in the season. And we can't talk about Rites of Passage without talking about the very, very quick, very abrupt rivalry of Corey and Jeremy. Was there any world for you two where instead of seeing each other in the game instantly being like, oh, no, I gotta get them out, that you guys could have came together and been like, okay, bygones be bygones, we are a known connection, we can work with each other, at least like get through a few rounds before we get both of our names out in the open?
So I'm going to let Jeremy answer that question because I was the one who tried to work with him. So I'm going to let Jeremy answer that part of the question.
I mean, Corey and I are like oil and water. It's just in a game setting, it doesn't work. Like, we are good friends outside of orgs and DCP. Like, we're really good friends. But in a game setting, our minds just don't get on the same page. So...
Well, and also I'll direct this one to Jeremy as well, from Corey's exit. Can the hatchet finally be buried now that you voted him out of the game again?
I mean, the hatchet can be buried, but for me, I am officially retired. And so if I even get into another game for some odd reason, I mean, maybe, but the chances of that happening are pretty slim.
Well, to touch upon what Jeremy just said, I don't know if I'm retired or not. So, I mean, for me personally, I've always said I was willing to work with Jeremy. I was also worried about Jeremy the second I saw him here. But I'm always able to overcome a first impression. right? So I was willing to work with Jeremy, and this was a very fascinating season for me because the thing is that, you know, watching the episodes back, what I will say is I'm a person that has a lot of anxiety in real life. And so I wasn't sure whether I was going to play this game at all. I didn't apply right away. And so I was reached out to, and they were like, why won't you apply? Just apply. It's not a guarantee you'll be on, but just apply. And then, you know, we'll take you into consideration. So I had to think long and hard before I did this, because I'd been like 2 years since I had last played a game. And so finally decided to, came out. And one of the things for me is my biggest fear is being judged in a negative light. I think that's something that everybody can share, but it definitely resonates strongly with me. And so this was an interesting season for me because I had to deal with a little bit of that as the episodes were airing. Some people were wondering, like, why would Corey even think he can work with Jeremy? Like, this makes absolutely no sense, from people that are just observing, just audience members. They don't know that Jeremy and I have been friends for 3 years, things like that. And so that's why this season was special for me, because I was able to sort of bury some of the things for myself and say, look, someone else can judge me all they want. They don't know. They don't know what I know about the friendship that Jeremy and I do have outside of this game, which lends itself to potentially being willing to work with him regardless of history in this game or previous games. So,
well, that was very beautiful to hear, Corey. And one thing I think that's been very good about this cast as a whole is the camaraderie you guys have had in the postseason. Like, I have seen a lot of orgs. I've seen a lot of casts. I haven't seen as many casts like talk for this long after filming has aired and still being very close, creating new friendships where you guys are talking almost daily with each other. And it's a very beautiful thing to see. So I appreciate all of you.
And Sarah, the swap was not kind to you, but what were your thoughts on the swap? And then 2 tribes were losing immunity, and you wound up being one of them on a 4-1 minority.
Fuck. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Oh no. Like, not a lot of positive thoughts went into that. Yeah, I think it was maybe the best way for me to go out, because I was like, well, there really wasn't much of a chance. So I wasn't like kicking myself afterwards. I did feel a lot better knowing that 3 of them went all the way to the end. So I was like, at least I was like with a really like the strong group that like killed it. So like, it makes it even more like, well, I didn't have a chance because they didn't turn on each other the entire time. There was no way that I was going to get them to flip then for me.
And
yeah.
So now that
before I just want to say, to go off of Sarah's comment. Unlike certain other groups within this game, unfortunately that 3 had no leaks.
Simmons, with Sarah here, did you know at the time that she put on that Disney sweatshirt just for you?
I think she told me after the game ended, and let me tell you, incredible. I mean, you deserve to stay just for that. That is just unbelievable research that maybe some other people could have done.
I would have loved to have talked about that later on, but I didn't. That's okay.
No, at the time I didn't know, but that was literally like the first thing that we brought up when we started talking. So
it took you like 30 seconds, like less. I didn't have time to record it. Like, I got on and he goes, "Holy shit, is that Disney?" And I was like, yes.
Well, usually in these types of conversations, I try to find literally anything I can latch onto to try to like make a connection with somebody. And that was like perfect right there, right in my face. So well done.
I just like general question for everybody. Now that you guys have gotten a chance to watch the episodes, obviously you knew how the game went down and like who was going to get voted out and everything, but like you get to see people's confessionals for the first time. So was there anything that surprised you, or like somebody who had a really funny confessional, or maybe something where you're like, "Ooh, dang, I can't believe that they said that"? anything that sticks out in anybody's minds?
I mean, I wasn't surprised by a ton of stuff, but in terms of like hysterical confessionals, Shea definitely had some really great ones. And I knew like he'd constantly like make comments about like, oh, I'm gonna go do my confessional like out in the hot tub or whatever. But I'm not surprised they were funny because Shea is a funny person, but they really stood out as some great confessionals that I think people will like. It's one of the things I think people will remember about this season, as a whole. So
on the topic of being funny. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
She's not here tonight, but I swear I will be taking notes on how to do like when you write your parchment from Kylie, because she is hilarious. I mean, she has so many iconic moments in the season, things she says. So you got to credit where credit's due. And Kylie's voting booth confessionals, hilarious, gold.
Yeah, so much credit there. One-liners, like I'm just so impressed with that, of people being able to give those short snippets of what is going on in the game so succinctly, with a nice little zip at the end of it too. Lex, you killed that too, buddy. Like you're sassy. You brought some sass in some of yours. It was pretty fun to see. I'm just glad to see everybody having so much fun.
I want to give a shout out to Austin M, because the Austinisms, watching it crack me up every time. Every time.
I make a notion that half the time after I watch them back, I'm like, why did I say that? That makes no sense. And apparently it's a good thing because nobody else understood them either. So I hate my game that way, I guess. I don't know.
There's nothing to hate about it. It's don't change. Don't change ever.
It's awesome. It's amazing.
I was gonna say more so than any other game I've been in. I think it's because it's all stars. Like when you get voted out, you always want to see exactly what the people who voted you out were thinking. And I think this game, every single person put 1,000% into it, where actually seeing what was going on behind the scenes to like get me out, and I'm sure everybody else did the same thing except for the final three, to see what exactly got me voted out was so much more reassuring than any other season I'd been in before, because the level of play was so high, where like if you got voted out, like you got voted out for a good reason, but for multiple people in the game. Whereas sometimes you just sit there like, that was so dumb on their part. Watching this season, every single move was calculated to the point where I feel like everybody can be like, yeah, they made the right move.
I'll kind of echo or piggyback off of that too. Like, I didn't realize my name was out there as early as it was, like 2 rounds prior. And then the fact that I could have been the target Kylie's round and won immunity like at the perfect time. That was really interesting to watch back.
Yeah, can we give some kudos to production for editing? Because what you may not have seen is that throughout that whole time, especially in that first week, I don't know about everybody else, but we were on calls, recorded calls for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And how you went through all that and created such a beautiful narrative that I felt like really did showcase what was going on in the season, and all of that high level gameplay that Mike was talking about, like, so impressive.
Yes.
Hey, as much as we will receive those kudos, like we put it on top of all of you, like all season long. We were just like, hey, if you want good episodes, if you want to have like a full-fledged story, record those calls, give us everything. We will deal with having to go for the hours and hours, because the content was so good. Like the conversations are incredible. The strategy is top tier. The social game, you can see how the relationships were really forming in real time. So we'll take those kudos, but we're going to send them right back to you, because we can only put out what you guys provide us. So thank you.
I typically try and make things 45 to 50 minutes, but because of the amount of content that was needed to tell everyone's story, they were an hour plus. So you guys had a lot going on within 10 days. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was that Australian Survivor edit for you all.
Now, Alex, you mentioned at the beginning that we should talk about the tribe idols. Do we want to?
Oh yeah, and how badly that they just overlooked something so easy.
Oh,
Like in my
You're gonna yell at us now.
in our mind, that was the easiest idol clue we ever given out. That like outside of like a mini where it's a very basic for a long game. Our theory was we gave you episode titles of all DCP on an album. We had timestamps of when to start the clips. Like we gave you the episodes, we gave you we handed you the game where if you just went through all of them, there was only one that talked specifically about getting an advantage. And if you had just sent us the title of that episode, that song track, you will have gotten an idol. But instead, we got All Star by Smash Mouth. We got Shake It Off. We Will Rock You.
Yep.
and we're here in production going like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? We're having McKenna's mom
process.
yeah. Just talk through it.
I don't know about everybody else, but there is a zeitgeist in this game of there's so much gameplay and trying to figure out what the hell's going on that our minds were moving so fast and trying to figure out all these things that it's almost like everything became a conspiracy and everything had 17 more pieces of information, and so it had to be more complicated than that. It was. We definitely overthought
it. We had people coming to us in their one-on-one chats with production going like, oh, it's easy. Like it's the first word that's said in each clip, and then that will create a sentence for us to say. And then we're just like, oh, you're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great. We're so proud of you. We're never getting these idols played.
I mean, I remember I was in like a group call with like 4 or 5 other people. We all said, okay, we're going to help try to figure this thing out. And like, we even sectioned off, okay, you watch this clip, you watch that clip, da 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 da. And we were like coming up with whole song lyrics and trying to match it all together because that's just where our mind went on this is how you're going to solve this. And it just after like an hour, maybe longer of that, it just kind of got to where the call was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go do some one-on-ones and get with people and see you later. Like,
but hey, thanks for the views.
Yeah. No, you guys entertained us either way.
I know the amount of guesses that we got that were like tribal shot. That's not for the merge idol.
Yeah.
That was
tribal shot. I'm like,
yeah.
3 more hours.
Shot for safety at tribal. Nope, sorry.
Yeah, the only people like for the longest time that figured out that it was host and not shot were Maddie and Zucker. They had all the pieces figured out to get to the merge. And I'm freaking out because I didn't want a Trinity Falls incident again, where I'm like having to decide between who do I give the first question to. So eventually production goes, just give an open-ended question for anyone to answer. And then that will give anyone who wants that idol badly enough to ask for a hug. And I do that, and all of you just sit there still, silent. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? What is this? I ask everyone a question. Everyone who has the clue, I have sprinkled through. I'm like, okay, they have an opportunity to say it. They have an opportunity to say it. No one says it. We're going to the vote. No one's still saying it. Until Lex said every single part of the clue that he could figure out. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm like, okay. I was like content with the fact we're not having any advantages in this game. And thank you, Zucker, for asking me for a hug, because I truly needed it at that moment.
I did too, yeah. So it was a mutually beneficial hug. Thank you, Alex.
Well, it's always very satisfying when the clue that you spend a lot of time putting together gets figured out, and then the advantage is earned by one of you guys. So it was a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, we have a tradition with our reunions, and that is the blooper reel. So without further ado,
You're welcome.
But I make it through the first round because of these. I mean, you can't compete with this.
I'm gonna broadcast over to this breakout room and let them know we're good to go.
Like that broadcast button has gone to his head.
We're good. We're boys. I'm still masked.
That looks like that old Xbox 360 Pop-Tart beanie, Lex.
This is a baseball cap because I'm so masculine, you know? Yep. I got my game face.
Throwing out.
Throw it out?
I said broing out. But you want to throw down? You want to go, Lex? Let's get it on.
Cups end to end in my challenge. I felt very comfortable and confident in that.
I'm not switching to my computer right now, as you can tell.
It's okay.
Kylie, I wanted to say it before, but you look so cute.
Oh, thanks.
This whole week I've thought it.
The other day, Lex was like, "Your hair looks so pretty. What'd you do?" I was like, "Washed it."
Yummy.
Okay, and last question. With this being the last round of today, if you make it through this vote, how are you going to prepare for tomorrow?
Good night's sleep and a hearty breakfast. I have to be up here earlier than our time anyway to talk sports, so I'll be up with a cup of coffee and hopefully won't shit myself, so we'll be all good.
Full transparency, I might cry during tribal because I'm a crier.
Oh no.
I'm just warning you now.
All right, so
Good luck on your test.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
It would really suck to fail my test and but out.
I won't have that on my conscience. Nope.
Yeah.
Not.
Nope.
Both of them on you guys. Come on.
Bring out my kid during trouble. I have a child.
Yeah.
You guys are evil.
Don't care.
I believe Simmons guesses. Oh my god, I just caught a bug. Anyway.
There he is. He left the Zoom
Shaming for leaving the meeting.
Rookie mistake.
Public shaming. Public shaming.
Shame.
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 Public shaming.
Yes, boo.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Okay, go to tree mail.
Here, get here. Okay, there's one. Get here. Okay, you're here.
I'm here.
Let's go with Morgan.
Morgan is not an
It is,
option. It is Ian
to
or
be
McKenna.
clear, it is Ian or McKenna.
The only two people who have an urn are Ian
No,
and McKenna.
that's how badly no one wants to pick me. They're picking people that aren't even doing it.
Ian, it's okay. They don't want to
Everybody
pick
just
me either.
loves me. Everybody wants to pick me. What can I say?
We get it.
Okay.
So you know you're still here, right?
No, I know I'm trying.
Purposely pacing and anxiously waiting for answers to questions, frantic complaining. Maybe I'm sorry, don't wanna be lonely.
You guys are sucking this much, eh?
Okay, I'm ready.
Canadian, eh?
Absolutely.
I don't know that I can say never, but at least I was gonna wait until the last minute to try to like before I was gonna. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
And you're 100% that Maddie has an fuck. Come on, guys. God damn it.
I think Maddie's in.
Maddie, get the fuck out of here.
I thought this was a breakout room. For fuck's sake. We were just going through all of them, so I got confused. Sorry.
You can only use yeah, whatever. She's gone. Austin,
and Austin,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
You can only use tree mail in the well.
Oh, nerds. All right. Hold on.
Okay. You're gonna have to dumb that down. What the fuck is an impetus?
Oh, like a driver behind it.
So yeah, little
Sorry.
words.
Sorry.
Okay. Not that dumb. But I didn't actually know what impetus was.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to see Lex do this. What are you doing, girl? Like, I don't know why I'm going southern.
Not
Like,
quite that much.
we're friends. We could have done this together.
I'm just trying to see who's in what call here. Zucker's with Garsow. That's got to be an interesting one.
That sounds so awkward.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna hop in there. I am not hopping in there.
And also, Karen hasn't talked to me this whole time, and then she needs me. We're not buddies. She ignores me. Don't put that in there, please.
Should we just wait until we get taken to a confessional, or should we move now? Zucker. Did Zucker freeze? Did Zucker freeze for anyone else? Greg?
Yes, he looks frozen to me.
Okay, all right. Let's make sure I wasn't the one frozen. Zucker, you were frozen.
Yeah. Oh, I was frozen. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were frozen on my end. Oh, yeah. Now it says internet connection is unstable. Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Buckle up. So, did you hear what Maddie said at Tribal Council?
I really wasn't paying attention to.
Did you hear her say, I wish I could just ask you guys for safety? Did you hear her say that to the hosts? Did you miss it?
Thank you, everyone, for some beautiful moments throughout the season. An unprecedented voting confessional from the stall of a toilet, a bathroom stall. Andrew, you've had some glorious moments this season.
It was fun. Oh, well, and the funny thing is, I wasn't even using the bathroom. I was in a bar, and it was too loud in there. So the quietest place I knew was the third floor bathroom. And then a student walked in and took a piss, so I had to wait anyway. So, but it was fun. It was fun.
I'm just glad that we finally had something to top the Connor dance moves of Exile. That's an all timer, Andrew. We knew immediately from there. We're like, up, lacing that through all the way through those bloopers. Oh, but thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Morgan.
I was going to say thanks to McKenna for putting the bloopers together. That was awesome. And I have a message from Ian as we close. He said, I really enjoyed hosting all of you, some for the first time and some for the second. I think all of you should be proud of the game you played and have each earned your all-star badge. Thank you for representing DCP well and coming back to play our game. I appreciate all of you. Much love from your much too serious, much lover of reading the votes host. So,
and as we come to a close, I just want to give some of my final thoughts. Thank you all for playing this game, agreeing like not only to take that first opportunity with us as like we are growing ourselves, but to give us that second chance for your second chance, and putting a lot of trust and faith in our ability as hosts and as a production team to really give you a full experience both on the island and also watching it all back. I truly believe that we are the best thing next to actual Survivor when it comes to the content we create, and that's all due to the work and dedication that you all put in as players as well as our production team. And a lot of times All Stars means it's the conclusion of an org, but don't worry, this is only the first step. Keep your eyes out. If viewers that want to play our game, apps could be coming out sometime this summer for the next mini. And, you know, I hope you're ready to gamble with your fate.
Well, as we close, I just want to say thanks to all of you as well. It was a blast watching you play. You guys brought it. It was really fun watching the game back and just like reliving all the highlights and the fun moments. And I want to say thank you to my fellow co-hosts for just making it such a fun experience, being my last game as a host, and for just totally picking up when I texted them and was like, I'm going to the hospital, so sorry, I won't be around anymore. But it's been awesome, and I'm really glad that I got to see you all one last time to bid you farewell. So thanks, guys.
And with that, it wraps up our season. We still have some other stuff trickling out. We have the last Sunday show. We might have some more exit interviews for you. We have some secret scenes. We will be releasing all of their thoughts while in the voting booth, so you can see their 10-minute rambles if you so wish. The draft update, see which production member won the draft. So we still got some more content coming for you here on DCP. And like Alex said, stay tuned for what we have in store next.